Hello everyone and welcome to Campus Channel. I'm here with ESCP Business School and we're going to be talking about the MSc in International Business and Diplomacy. It was launched in October 2022 and in order to talk about it, I have the pleasure to welcome two guests of honor. The first one, Maxime Lefebvre, the Scientific Director. Hello Maxime, how are you?
Hello, I'm well, thank you very much.
What should we need to know about you that I haven't said, apart from being a Scientific Director?
I am a career diplomat, so I have a diplomatic career behind me. I have been teaching to ESCP Business School. I'm teaching international relations since 2016. And we have decided to launch this Master Business and Diplomacy in 2022.
All right, and we'll know more about it a bit afterwards. One of your students is here as well, Zineb Amrani. I've heard you were the first students of your classroom, and we'll talk about that later. So you are a student actually right now. What else should I know about you?
Well, my name is Zineb Amrani. Thank you so much for having us. We're very happy to be speaking about this unique program today. I was born and raised in Morocco. I came to France for higher education when I was 17, let's say. And I went to law school actually in Canada and in France, so I have a legal background. Worked a little in investment arbitration as well as in business law firms, and joined ESCP after that.
And you're a student ambassador as well. Yes. True, you missed that. Well, the two of you are here to answer my questions, but first we'll start with the pitch. The pitch is a 60-second talk, Maxime, in which you will have to tell us the main things we need to know about this MSc. Are you ready?
Yes, we have decided to launch this master because in the present international context, we have more and more geopolitical tensions, and it's more and more important for business to also being able to cope with governments, with public affairs, with geopolitics. And we thought it would be a good idea to launch this master where we are preparing students not only for international business, but also for public affairs, for possibly the public sector, and we are exploring the interactions at the international level between the public and the private sector. So it's a new program. It's quite original because not so many schools are launching such programs. Many schools, business schools, are launching business programs, and you have also some schools for political science or international relations, but we wanted to combine both aspects for this new program.
All right, thank you very much. Well, right on the timer. Thank you, perfect. ESCP timing. For the rest, it's the program. First thing first, Maxime, what is international business and diplomacy according to you?
So for me, it's international business. So if you are coping with international business, you have to know about the different countries, the different cultures, you know about sometimes the governments that you are going to deal with. So international business relates to diplomacy, to public affairs, but you have also the diplomatic part, where you have to be able to do, for example, corporate diplomacy when you are working in a company, but you have also to work, for example, for the public sector, for the diplomacy of governments. You can work in international organizations. This is also multilateral diplomacy. You can also work in some firms for economic intelligence, for consulting. You can work for NGOs. So for me, international business and diplomacy, it's the combination of the public and private affairs at the international level.
During the courses, Zineb, what's the mix between international business on one side and diplomacy on the other side?
Right, so we have a couple of courses that are on the pure business side. So this is going to be marketing to finance to accounting to negotiations classes, for example. And on the other side, we have more political science, more international relations classes such as state and diplomacy, geopolitics. We have a course in lobbying, for example, which is pretty interesting, economic intelligence. So yeah, there's a good balance between the two, and they're all very intertwined, so it completely makes sense.
Would you say it's as good as having an MSc in international business on one side and an MSc in diplomacy on the other side? Would you say it's really like two diplomas in one?
It is a dual degree. It is a dual degree. I remember very vividly when I was looking for master's degrees that I was either encountering master's in business or it was master's in political science, and I couldn't find something that was in between. And so this is really like at the crossroads of both, and that's what it's interesting.
ESCP often emphasizes on the learning by doing approach in your programs. How is this approach reflected in this MSc?
The classes are not based only on lectures or on conferences. They're also based on case studies, on presentations. So the students have to do some group presentations, group works. We have also some study visits on the ground in some foreign countries. For this year, we went to Luxembourg, we went to Berlin. So we want to be at the contact also of professionals, of the professional life. It's not only about academic studying, but it's also about preparing to the real life.
We'll talk about those international study trips, but like when you pick a city, for example, Berlin, Luxembourg, how do you pick the city? Is it just depending on the news? Is it depending on, I don't know, economic interests?
Both. For Berlin, for example, we have a campus in Berlin. So we are going to teach a class in Berlin in intercultural management. But of course, in a capital like Berlin, you have a lot of contacts, institutions which are interesting to visit, or speakers that we can invite to the campus. And in Luxembourg, of course, it's a very important place for finance, for example, but you have also European international institutions, the European Court of Justice, for example. So we try to choose the destinations where we are really able to offer interesting visits, interesting meetings with the people.
To help us understand what ESCP is looking for, I'm saying that because it's a new program. It's the first promotion is here with us. And how would you envision a future student of the program or a student in the program? What would be their soft skills, their hard skills, their link with diplomacy and international business?
We are looking for students who have either a business background and who are interested in working at the international level in contact with the public sphere, or we are looking for students who don't have any business background, but, for example, they have studied some law or political science or humanities or sociology or engineering, and they want to have this opening to business at the international level. So it's a combination of both, both origins of the students. The skills that the students should have is firstly to have a good level of knowledge in business fields, in political science, international relations, these kind of things. If they don't know that, they have to learn it during the curriculum. And the soft skills, of course, they have to be motivated. They have to be to have the will to integrate into a multicultural team. They have to make some collective works. So they need to develop these soft skills, which will be useful for their professional life.
Well, so maybe, Zineb, you can confirm that with, your academic, I know you're telling the truth, obviously, but I want to make sure that you're telling the real truth.
The insider tips.
All right, true. So, among the students, you have an international background, you have a low background as well. Would you describe the same, academic background for the other students of the classroom as well?
So if I were to describe the different profiles we have today, most are coming from business schools, either from abroad or from France. The other side, 50%, let's say, is coming from an international relations, political science background. You have some legals like me, but it doesn't mean that you cannot come from another background, actually. You can also come from something that is more scientific, maybe something more engineering related, because this is something that has its own relevance today in the industry, and you will find diplomacy and you will find international business in every sector and every field. So it doesn't mean that it's closed to those people as well.
And what are the admission requirements then?
I think I will let you speak about the admission requirements, but
The one you went through.
so the process is pretty simple. You have to, basically it's everything online. You have to do everything through the platform, the ESCP platform. You have to upload your resume. You have to answer a couple of motivational questions. Then if you're admissible, you're called for an interview. And this is the fun part of it. You will meet the director, Maxime Lefebvre, as well as another professor usually. And yeah, you have to be coherent with what you're looking for and what you've been doing so far, but you don't have to know exactly how or what you aim at, but you just have to have a red line and be able to explain it.
Do you remember any questions that you might, like Maxime might have asked you and you were like, well, I wasn't prepared for that, for example?
I do remember one. Well, I was kind of prepared for it, to be honest. But yeah, for me, it was more, the focus was a lot on my professional experience, because I had a lot compared maybe to the other candidates, and they were curious to know why I would go back to get another degree on top of my other degrees while having worked before. And so yeah, they were pretty interested in that. But they're very focused on the person and the motivation and why are you here, what you have done, what you've done so far. They're not trying to trap you. They're not trying to be mean or something. I was expecting more.
A more challenging interview?
It was challenging, but it was not. They were not trying to trap me. And so it speaks of the kind of spirit that has developed in this program.
Maxime, if you had to give our students one advice on how to get ready for those interviews, for the whole admission process, what would it be?
Firstly, we select on the basis of the academic level, so not everybody is going to be admitted for the interview. But when you are admitted for the interview, you have to prepare your personality. We select you on the personality, on the motivation, and on the adequation between your profile, what you are looking for in the business life, in the professional life, and what the master is. If you want, for example, to do only international trade, I'm not sure this master is the best possible master for you. But the profile of the students has to match to the curriculum of this MSc.
All right, so let's work on the coherence there.
Yes, coherence, persuasion, be yourself, be prepared, and have a good level in your academic background, but also in your ambition, in your personality.
All right, so as long as you have ambition, as long as you have coherence, as long as you have a target, you could be elected, you could be admissible in this MSc. That could be maybe the first cliché that we debunked. It's like anyone can do international business and diplomacy, and for the other clichés, it's about the clichés. The clichés are about preconceptions, ideas that you might have had before applying, once you've applied, before you created this MSc, once you've created it. I don't know, you name it. Zineb, what would be the first cliché that comes to your mind?
I think that with regards to business school, most of the time, you think that the hardest part is to get in, and that after that, it's pretty much holidays. It is not. I can tell you that. It is a demanding program. You have to work, and you have to make the best out of it.
So no holidays never before,
no,
during the admission process and once you've been admitted?
Well, there is a good balance, I would say. You still are able to have a life, let's say, and build relationships with your classmates and your professors and all of that, but you have to work.
What's the work-life balance, for example? Like if you had to give hours, I mean, you are you, so I mean, it would be just for your personality, but like roughly.
Mm-hmm. So in terms of courses, strictly speaking, you have 3 to 6 hours per day of class. And outside of that, you...
Tripled.
No, but I would recommend working for 2 hours or something to just like get back on your classes. And but it depends. It depends.
All right. So that would be the work-life balance that you have. Okay. Mm-hmm. Maxime, what would be your cliché?
The cliché could be that because ESCP is a business school, this master has been launched for international business only. And the idea is also to be able to reach out other possible jobs at the international level, including the public sector, including international institutions, including NGOs. So we really want to broaden the spectrum of possible jobs for the students after this master. Not only business, but business, of course, will be probably the bulk of the professional destinations of our students, but there are also other possibilities, I think.
So diplomacy, the word is not just here for the show. It's actually, it has a meaning, it has a purpose.
Exactly.
And the job is the purpose, for example.
Exactly. And I come from the French Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and we know we have a lot of positions of contracted positions, in the French diplomacy, but also in international institutions where you can apply and you can try possibly to start a diplomatic career even if you don't pass the right exam, the right concours to do it. So it's really, I think the present professional life is more complex. You can do different things at different moments in your life. So I think this master also prepares for that.
All right.
And maybe to build up on this, if I may, a lot of my classmates are orienting themselves towards public affairs, for example, so public relations, the relationships between the private sector with the public sector, with the NGOs. Some of them want to work with international organizations such as the World Bank, etc. So yes, there is the business side. People are going to consulting, for example. But I also have a classmate that is going to prepare the exam for the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and integrate the Quai d'Orsay, following the path of his director.
Of the scientific director.
Exactly. So yeah, it is, you have an array of different options that you can go through.
So it's not just words, not just things you're going to learn, it's actually things you're going to do afterwards.
Absolutely.
Right. Thank you for making that clear. We mentioned the international study trip. Let's dig a little bit closer to it with studying abroad. Maxime, it's called international business. So what's international about this MSc?
International, firstly, because our cohort is international. It's not only French. We have a majority of French students, sometimes binational, but we have a lot of European and international profiles, and really international. We have 2 Americans this year, we have 1 Korean, 1 Japanese, 1 Russian, so it's really international. And of course, we want to study not only in Paris, we have also some foreign professors, and we are making these two trips, one on the Berlin campus, and the other we made it in Luxembourg to make some visits. So it's really oriented towards an international career.
Is it going to be the same cities next year?
Not necessarily.
No spoiler.
I don't want to confirm that maybe we shall choose another destination. ESCP Business School is a European business school with campuses not only in Paris, but also Berlin, London, Madrid, Torino, Warsaw. So we have some opportunities to make other visits. So we'll see for next year. But we still want to organize two trips abroad. And we have also a lot of speakers which are not French. Mm-hmm. So our course for diplomacy is taught by a former German diplomat, a very prestigious former German diplomat, and we have other speakers and professors coming from abroad.
What are the main qualities of the teachers? Because you've had studies before, mm-hmm. and now you have like ESCP teachers. What would be the specificity?
I would say that most of our teachers are practitioners, so they know exactly what they're doing. Our tax professor, for example, is working with the tax administration, and he's writing the tax laws. The state and diplomacy professor, Joachim Bitterlich, is an ex-ambassador, and he's been the right hand of the German chancellor, for example. Our geopolitics professor has been in geopolitics his whole life, and this is Monsieur Lefebvre. And I have many examples just like that. The business side, for example, the business courses, the lobbying class is taught by a lobbyist, the consulting class, ex-consultant. So it is really, you see the industry from the inside. And I think that's the value added to the program.
When it comes to the taxes, does it give you any tax reduction or? No,
I can't say.
You can't say, all right. Perfect.
What happens in class, I can't say.
Okay, perfect. And what's been your favorite part so far?
My favorite
Apart
part.
from the tax deduction, obviously.
My favorite part with regards to courses.
Yeah, or like anything.
Or the program in general.
Yeah. Up to you.
I would say that the most interesting is the different corporate diplomacy conferences that are organized by our director. It's approximately each week, and we receive a personality from the business world or from the diplomatic world. We've had eminent people such as the head of public affairs of Alstom and Thales and EDF and Sanofi, just giant companies in their respective fields. And this allows you, because this is just for us, just for our class, and this allows you to go and speak with them, and these are people you can see just outside and go talk to them. So it's, yeah, that's my favorite part.
Yeah, yes, sounds pretty great. And do you have any contact with people from other MSCs as well? Or like, do you belong to, I don't know, a student group, student organization, or is it just the international business and diplomacy MSc together with those specific conferences for them, and you're just like satellites around the others MSc? Or
so this is our privilege, I would say, but we also have the ESCP connections, you know, and the ESCP organize cohorts and conferences on a daily, and so you can have access to them all the time, and depending on your interests. We also have links with the other programs, whether it is events, whether it is just friendly events, or maybe more work-related events. So yeah, it's a pretty integrated system.
what's the difference between the professional mission and the professional thesis required to graduate? First question, I will ask another one afterwards. You have professional mission and you have the professional thesis.
What is foreseen in the program is that you have to do an internship at least 4 months, so it may be longer. It can be also the start of a professional career, which can be validated as an internship for the beginning. And you also have a professional thesis. So it's work which is between 50, 100 pages, and you have to deepen a topic related to the master, but the master is very broad. You can have, for example, a topic about the war in semiconductors. You can have a master about the control of foreign investments, etc. So you have a lot of possible topics, and you have to explore it, to meet people, to read articles, and to make a good thesis in English or in French.
Do you have any idea what you're going to pick as a subject?
I think
unless it's too secret. I mean, I don't want to.
It's not secret, but I think I'm going towards FDI, so foreign direct investment control, and the strategic autonomy of Europe, and yeah, that's going to be my subject.
That could lead to my next question about ethics and sustainability. How do you address those two, ethics and sustainability, within the MSc?
So first of all, we have 2 or 3 classes that have a focus on sustainability. We have a sustainability management class that goes throughout the year, and I have exam for it today. We have also
Just saying.
Just saying, and we have also ecological transition, and most of the other courses actually integrate the dimension about sustainability. We have public policy, and they're teaching us to make today or tomorrow policies that will be in adequation with sustainability and the climate crisis and all of that. So yeah. That's a very relevant topic.
Is it important to ESCP Business School to have like ethics and sustainability within this specific MSc? Or in general?
Would say that it's a general preoccupation of ESCP to deal with ethics, the ethics part, and to deal with sustainability. We have created in ESCP a specific department in the faculty dedicated to sustainability. So sustainability is everywhere today. It's part of the world, of the globalization, of the international relations, of geopolitics. So yes, it's clearly a priority.
Right, we mentioned several jobs you could do once you're graduating and why diplomacy is very important and it's not just there for the show. So let's dig a bit closer to it as well with after. Speaking about job, do you think employers are looking for specific skills in international business and diplomacy, and how will the program impart these skills? Not necessarily hard skills, it could be soft skills as well.
Yes, of course. I would say if you want to make a career in public affairs, for example, you have to start in a company dealing with economic intelligence, being on the ground, so maybe abroad, working for a company, and then you will develop your career. So I would say what we learn in our MSc, for example, economic intelligence, or the meeting with many representatives for corporate diplomacy, they can bring this this know-how and help the student to start their career. But of course, what will be important will be how the students will behave when they work in a company. There is a big gap between the studying and working in a professional world. So, I think this is a good preparation, to get access to the professional world, to meet a lot of practitioners, and also to learn things which are very useful for that. So, I'm quite confident that our students who are really general terms, they are very motivated, they are curious, they are serious. So I'm quite optimistic that they will find big opportunities to start a professional career in companies or elsewhere.
All right, so that was kind of my next question. It's like, since this MSc started in October 2022, how can you ensure the students watching that they will have a job once they've graduated? Do you have any indicators? Do you have any partnerships with big companies? You mentioned so many Thales, EDF, Sanofi, all of those companies. Are they asking for your students to they should graduate quick so that I can hire them? Do you already have those kind of infos without telling us you have them?
No, it's too early to have a complete information. I know, for example, that one of our students is going to start an internship in Total, which is a big international French company. But of course, they will all find internships. It's too early to make a global reflection on that, but we don't place the students. It's not our role to find internships for the students. They have to find their internships to convince their employers to answer some offers in the public or in the private sector. So it's a bit early. But I'm quite confident that we shall have a good result.
You give them the tools and how to use them, and you know that they will be able to use them.
Yes, and of course the students are in a situation today where they are in a good position because the companies need some young workforce, so they need some young collaborators. So I think having done this MSc is a good preparation to meet these requirements.
Do you want to say something?
Yeah, I think that first of all, as you mentioned, it is hard skills, but also soft skills. And being in this ecosystem as a class, you're confronted to a lot of different opinions, a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people. And at the end of the day, integrating a job will be exactly that. And we have a lot of teamwork to do. You have to cope with a lot of differences. And this is something that is a skill you need for tomorrow inside a company. And my second point is to say that it is true that they're not providing the internship to you, but they put you in the right places and they put you in contact with the right people, in the sense that we receive, as I said, someone each week from huge companies. You can talk to them, you can get a better understanding of how it works inside, and if you're a little smart with it, you can maybe grab an email or something and you can push your own application, you know, so yeah.
And you mentioned, yes, sorry.
Yes, in terms of skills, I would say that Zineb's maturity is very representative of the maturity of our students regarding their professional ambitions and perspectives.
And speaking of, I don't know, cohorts and relation you will create with students, there's another thing that we haven't mentioned, that it's the network. Do they belong to this MSc network or to the ESCP Business School network?
We are going to create a network for the MSc, but it will come with time. For the moment, the students belong to the ESCP, so they belong to
a massive network.
It's a massive network, of course. There are a lot of activities on the different campuses. In Paris, we have the Montparnasse campus, where the master is taught, but we have also the République campus, where you have other parts of the program, and you can do activities on the République campus as well. So there are a lot of networking possibilities. I think it's very important that people can use these networks, can engage. For example, we have students who have decided to run for a competition for lobbying. So they do that on a purely voluntary basis. Nobody forced them. I didn't force them. I didn't have the idea, but they decided to do it. So it's very good, because I don't know if they will win. There will be many schools, but if they are running for ESCP, and if they win, ESCP will win. So this is the kind of network which is very useful.
And the kind of soft skills your students have as well.
Exactly.
The ability to engage in causes. Do you want to say something about the lobbying?
Yeah, I'm part of it.
That's what I thought when I say
I'm part of the volunteers. It is true that we were not forced. I hope we will win. But it is true that it's the first time ESCP participates in this, and it's nationwide, so it's pretty major. We are in contact with senators. We are represented by Spin Partners, which is a consulting firm, that does lobbying and public affairs as well. So yeah, this is going to be a very exciting part.
All right, we'll keep an eye on that. The time flies. Let's move on to extra time. Extra time, it's 2 minutes that you can have in order to tell us something that we haven't said already, or maybe you want to emphasize on something that has already been told. Zineb, we'll let you start. What will be your conclusion?
My conclusion, this program is really at the crossroad of what you would see as international business and diplomacy. You have both sides. They're very much represented. It's not, as you said, just diplomacy on the side and mainly business. It is the two. And this is skills that you're acquiring that are readily transferable to a lot of different jobs. And so, yeah, I think it's a very good program. This is something that I was looking for and I did not find elsewhere before integrating it. So I was pretty happy to cross paths with it. Yeah, outside of that, your classmates are going to be your friends. They're going to be your network as well. You have to make the most out of it. It is for you to choose.
Thank you, Zineb. Maxime?
Yes, we have launched this master to open the possibilities, not to do business only on the business track, but also to incorporate the public affairs view, the governmental sector view. So it's important to broaden the spectrum. If you want to do this master, you will increase your possibilities of jobs opportunities. And it's only the beginning of a new adventure. So it's, I think we are very happy of the first cohort, and Zineb is very representative of it. We have recruited students with a good level. I'm sure the level will still increase in the future. And I think it's a very good opportunity to be part of this new adventure.
Well, thank you, Maxime. Thank you, Zineb. If you want to be a pioneer, basically, of international business on one side and diplomacy on the other side, and combine the two of those, it's at ESCP Business School with the MSc in International Business and Diplomacy. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you soon.